Hey guys, Jim Roberts here along with
Stu Smith.
And Stu is actually in the NYC or just north of NYC doing a cool conference. What are you doing up there?
Working with some New York City firefighters.
There you go.
Just tactical fitness stuff. And I tell you what, man, I'm using an iPhone right now for this Zoom podcast, just using the Zoom app.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
And you'll notice that I have a change of scenery behind me. I'm actually in my mom's living room, not my mom's basement. No, my wife has not kicked me out or anything. I'm up helping my mom and dad and my sister. My dad's in the hospital. But this just goes to show that we can get stuff done from anywhere. So
that's right.
What we want to talk about today in our podcast is the 10 most lethal copywriting mistakes people make and how to avoid them, because there are certain things that I see people doing over and over and over that absolutely kill their results. And so I figured I'd whip out a big word like lethal. Instead of saying 10 copywriting mistakes that kill your results, I figured I'd say 10 most lethal copywriting mistakes people make and how to avoid them to let you off the hook. So let me tell you what they are real quick, and then should I give them a preview, or we just dive into them? Just dive in?
I say we dive in. I'm taking notes. I won't be able to keep up if you rattle them off.
Okay. So the first biggest mistake, the number one biggest mistake is no headline. Every single thing that you ever put out, ever in your whole life, sales letter, product, blog post, podcast episode, everything has a headline or a title or something that is designed to grab people's attention and to make them stop. All right. And a headline can be a hook, and we're going to talk more about hooks in a minute. But that is the number one biggest mistake, is not having a headline. And the second biggest mistake that goes right along with that one, so part two of this first one, is having the wrong headline for the traffic that you're getting. So we know that there are really three temperatures of traffic. There's hot, warm, cold. And hot is they know who you are and they know about your product. Warm is they know there's a solution out there somewhere. And cold is basically they don't know about you. They don't know about your product. They even know there's a solution. They just know they have a problem. And so you have to know what the temperature is of the traffic that you're sending so that you can put up a headline that is appropriate for them. But even if you don't know the temperature of the traffic, just having a headline is going to get you further ahead of not having a headline whatsoever. So that's the big thing. Biggest mistake I see people making is no headline, or derivations of that, like they put the headline into a graphic at the top and everybody ignores those graphics. So that, well, you have a headline, Jim. And there are other mistakes with formatting and whatnot. But the bottom line is you need to have a big, bold headline at the top of your page that people can see to let them know if they're in the right spot or not. So that's that's mistake number one.
Now, how about a subtitle?
A subtitle or a subheadline, absolutely you can do those. But make sure that the headline, the way that it's formatted, make sure that the headline is big and the subheadline is smaller, so it obviously is a subheadline. Because if you make everything all the same size, then it just looks like this giant blobby paragraph of crap that everybody looks at and goes, wow, that really sucks. I can't read that. Let me go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could spend an entire podcast episode on each one of these, and who knows, we might.
Hey, that's a great idea.
We'll do an entire podcast episode.
I may just do that.
There you go.
I already have two guests coming up, by the way. I'll surprise everybody later.
Nice. Okay. So the second lethal mistake people make is talking only about features. And a feature is, in your sales copy, there are three things you need to understand. There are features, there are benefits, and there are meaning. Feature is what it is. Benefit is what it does. And meaning is what all of that means to you. Now, if you want to see a great example of only talking about features, go over to Amazon and look at any piece of hardware. All right, look up a drill, look up a set of wrenches, and they talk only about features. You know, carbide steel, all metric sizes, just all this different. Drills 1 inch, takes a 1 inch chuck. Now, let me tell you, you don't take that takes a 1-inch chuck out of context, okay, especially if you're Chuck. But the point is, I love making you crack up. The thing is, though, the features only get you so far. You think about features like is on a spec sheet. Nobody gets excited about features, but they start getting excited when you talk about the benefits and the meaning. So let's use the example of a ratchet wrench, okay, a multi-size ratchet wrench. You know, the feature might be works on 3/8 to 5/16. Now, the benefit is it works on 3/8 to 5/16, which means you don't have to, which means you don't have to switch wrenches between jobs. You can use the same wrench without going back to your toolbox. So I'm making this up as I go, but so you can get the job done without having to switch your wrench all the time, which means you'll be able to get your job done faster and be able to hang out with your kids. So just pulling that out of thin air, you want to think in terms of the feature, what's the benefit of the feature, and then what's the meaning of that benefit to them. So that's the big thing. You see this all the time, though, when people in all their sales copy, especially in their bullets, they're only talking about features, which is what it is. But people don't buy it for what it is. They buy it for what it does for them and what that means to them. That's important. Any questions on that one?
No, that's a great one.
Okay, so the third mistake, so the first mistake is no headline. Second mistake is talking about features only. The third lethal copywriting mistake, I got to come back to that, lethal copywriting mistake is talking all about you and not about them. Meaning, have you ever been out to dinner with somebody or even been on a phone call with somebody and all they can do is just talk about themselves? We did this, we did that, I did that, I think that, I'm doing this, this is important to me, all this stuff. That's not a good thing to do when you're writing sales copy, because the sales copy needs to be all about them, all about their needs, all about their problems, all about their desires, all about their goals, all about how they're going to be benefited by what it is that you offer. Nobody cares about you at all. They only care about themselves. And so one of the things that I like to do to make sure that my sales copy is, and this is especially important with written, but with all types of sales copy, but I see this more when you're writing as opposed to talking on video, at least for me, because I envision talking to somebody like I'm talking to you. So it makes it easier for me to make it about them, as opposed to when I'm writing stuff, sometimes I can make it about me. So what I do is I'll go back through my sales copy and I look for everywhere that I use the words we, me, my, our, I, and which are first person pronouns for those of you who paid attention in 11th grade English class. And what I'll do is see how I can reword it so it's about them, change it around so that it's, so you can, which means you will be able to, so an example would be if I'm talking about my experience as a copywriter. So I might say, I've got 22 years of experience as a copywriter, and what that means for you is that you can benefit from all of my experience so you don't have to spend 22 years figuring out what I figured out over 2 decades. You see what I mean? Just as an example.
Oh, yeah.
What that means to you. So that's a good example of that, like with Stu, is, I figured out how to make it to, through, and after the hardest military training in the world. So if you basically will just do what I tell you, then you will be able to reach your fitness goals, including getting 2 buds if you're committed to doing that. You see how it's not just
absolutely. So
hey,
there's
I'm
a little bit of you, but
I'm awesome. What's that?
There's a little bit of you, but it's it goes back to your benefits and meaning, about how they can benefit from you, not all about you.
Right.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. Any questions on that one? Okay, so just to recap, first mistake, no headline. Second mistake, talking about features only. Third mistake, talking about you and not talking about them. Fourth big lethal mistake is no clear reason why to buy. And so people are always asking, okay, why should I buy this? And so in your sales copy, you've got to explain to them how they're going to be benefited by whatever it is that you're selling. And I know this might sound obvious, but when you see people creating sales copy, they don't, a lot of times there's like no clear reason why, no theme through it. And so there are reasons why people buy stuff, and they're universal. People buy stuff to make money, save time, avoid effort, escape pain, to be more cleanliness, to be cleaner, to feel more love, to feel an increase in status, to be more popular. Those are the reasons why people do stuff. I mean, why do people buy from you? To buy stuff to get into military training. For some, it's, this is how I want to make my money. For others, it's, I want to have that status of being an elite operator. So there are reasons why they're buying. That theme has to be clear in your sales copy. So, just thinking through that list: make money, save time, avoid effort, escape pain, feel more love, be more popular, increase status, to be cleaner. I mean, one of the biggest things in the biggest industries in this country is cleaning products. Did you know that? Yeah.
Yes.
People, and they link status to that. They link love to that. If you don't use Febreze, man, you hate your kids. I mean, you're making those little rats live in just a stinky cesspool if you don't get Febreze. But if you do get Febreze, then obviously you love your children. So that's the thing. You got to have a theme or several themes in there, but it's got to be real clear.
So as a good example of that would be like buy now, but while supplies last. Is that an example of need a clear reason to buy, or?
That is more to do with the call to action and a mechanism of scarcity, or a reason
limited
to buy now, as opposed to just a reason why you're going to buy this.
Gotcha.
Okay. And it's a slightly different thing, that the reason why is linked to one of those top 10 reasons why people buy, as opposed to why buy now can be linked to a fear of loss, like limited quantity, limited time, limited bonus, extra incentive type stuff like that. So that's a different, yeah, exactly. Okay. Gotcha. So that was the next, that was number 5. So, or number 4. Anyway, I can't keep track. Okay. So right along though, with you asking that question, the next lethal mistake is no clear call to action. Now, part of the call to action, and let me tell you guys what a call to action is. It's real simple. Telling people what to do, when and where, to buy or sign up or to try, or to call you on the phone. See, a lot of people also, well, 2 things I want to say about this. Number 1, no clear call to action. It just meanders it around, and people are afraid to tell people and ask people, hey, buy now. Here's the place to buy. So the big orange buy now button, I mean, that's a real clear call to action. But part of your call to action also can be the reason why to buy now. All right, we'll lump that with there. You can talk about that separately, but we'll just lump it in there together. As part of your call to action, you can increase your conversion by giving people a reason to buy now. Again, it can be a limited quantity, it can be a limited time, it can be some sort of something that disappears. Those are very powerful techniques, but they have an Achilles heel. Because if you create something that the big reason why they should buy now is because after next Thursday, you're never going to sell it again. What happens after next Thursday?
Yeah.
You can never sell it again. I mean, I learned that lesson the hard way when I created a product, sold it for $777, told everybody they could only buy it through next Thursday. I made enough money to pay off my house in a week. True story. Made enough money to pay off my house in a week. And when Thursday came, I was totally depressed. My wife says, what is wrong with you? You just made more money in a week than we've ever made before in like a year or 2. And I said, I know, but I just left millions of dollars on the table because I've got a screaming hot offer and I can never sell it again. So what I would tell you guys, because I could never sell it again, because I said I'll never sell it again. I had to be true, authentic. So what you want to do is find emotionally compelling reasons why people need to buy now that are never going to change. And so that's where you say things like, again, using an example of, Stu's thing. Now, let me be clear on this with the fitness stuff. Every day you wait to get whatever what's the book you have about flexibility and recovery?
Tactical mobility?
Tactical mobility and recovery is another day that your muscles are going to keep tightening up. It's another day that your run times are going to go down. It's another day you're going to be scared that you may lose the job that you've worked so hard to get and keep for the last decade. You can't wait another day to start working on your tactical mobility and fitness. That's like, and that's never going to end. It's not like next Thursday, if you want to get flexible, you only have till next Thursday. It's no. So you gotta
make it evergreen.
Now I'm going to give you guys a little bit of insider stuff. That list I listed off for you about why people buy: make money, save time, avoid effort, escape pain, be more clean, increase status. Well, you can flip that. This is real insider stuff. It's like yin and yang. You flip that and use that in the reasons why they need to buy now as part of the call to action for fear of loss. If you do this, you're not going to make money. Little Timmy's going to be begging in the street. All right. It's going to cost you a ton of money if you wait. You're going to have to work much harder every day you wait. It's going to get harder and harder to get that strength and mobility that you need. You talk about decrease in status. Everybody's going to imagine the look on your friends' faces when they find out that you lost your elite job in the military because you failed a PT test. Ooh, so that's just, you see how all this stuff kind of fits together?
Oh, sure.
You take from here and you flip stuff around, but once you understand that, you can really do some cool stuff. So, any questions on that call to action stuff?
No. So my question is, I guess, is like the call to action button is quite obvious on most people's sales pages, right? There's a button there. Is the reason why near that button? It can be in your sales copy, or
it can be even in the button. Click here. Click here now to increase your strength and mobility, dude.
Or maybe have like, how you scroll the mouse over something and something pops up to explain.
Nah, you don't want to ever depend on that. You want somebody happen to interact with something to get more information. But having a button that says click here for more strength and mobility now, and then you can have a little thing under, get started, whatever the payoff is. But you can make the call to action include part of the payoff.
I like that.
So yeah, definitely. Okay. So no headline, talking about features only, talking about you, not talking about them, no clear reason to buy, no clear call to action. And the next one is real simple. This one we don't have to spend a lot of time on. Next lethal mistake is trying to write your sales copy from scratch, not using swipe files, not using scripts, not using blueprints. You are just a glutton for pain, punishment, and stupidity if you're going to do that. There are certain patterns that work for selling people stuff, and there are a lot of patterns that don't. People are people, and people buy stuff. I hear this crap about business to business versus business to consumer or versus peer to peer. It's people buying from people. And if you sell to companies, you're selling to people that run companies and work for companies. You're still selling to people. So the thing to understand is there are certain language patterns that work. Yes, it might be a little bit different because you're in a different industry, but not as much as you think. All right. People buy to solve problems and satisfy desires. That's why anybody ever buys anything. And so that's the thing. Do not try and wing this on your own. You need to use funnel scripts. You need to use the Jim Edwards Method Premium. You need to use these various tools that you have available to you that are going to help you to write your copy and create your content and get it done quickly. And that's just boom. Or you can spend 22 years building up your own swipe file and doing it. That's fine. Go ahead. Okay. We cool on that one?
Yes, that's
okay.
Cut and dry.
Okay, so the next lethal mistake is not having any type of hook or curiosity mechanism in your copy. Now, what is a hook? A hook is what makes people stop. Now, a hook can be it can be a headline. So your headline can be a hook. It can be text. It can be the first words that come out of your mouth. It can be an image. So don't just think about a sales letter, a one-page sales letter, or don't just think about an opt-in page, or don't just think about an ad on Facebook, or don't just think about any of these things, because we kind of get fixated and you think, well, that doesn't matter to me because right now I'm just worried about newsfeed ads on Facebook, Jim. Great, you still need a hook, but you got to understand the hooks that are going to work better based on wherever you're creating your copy. So in video, one of the things that I have found works really well is your hook on video needs to be the first words out of your mouth. It can also be a funny expression on your face. It can also be wear these masks and different hats and things like that, because there's a visual hook of, it's like, what is going on? What is he saying? So instead of saying, hey guys, Jim Edwards here and welcome to another edition of Letting the Chickens Out with Jim, I start with whatever the topic is and turned into a hook. What are the 10 most lethal things that people are doing with their sales copy that's costing them money, making them lose their house, and causing their children to have to beg in the streets? Hey guys, Jim Edwards here and welcome to another edition of Letting the Chickens Out with Jim. I mean, how can you ignore that hook? You know what I mean?
That's a good one.
So, and if I'm wearing a chicken hat, that'll hook you. And so there's got to be something curiosity driven. Now, if you think about newsfeed ads in Facebook, though, what's the hook in that, Stu? It's not text.
Oh, it's a pretty picture.
It's a picture, right?
Yeah.
It's a picture, or whatever's going on in your video that starts playing without sound when somebody scrolls through. So in that case, it's a picture. It's not words. In fact, words are pretty much the least important part of that whole process when you're talking about a newsfeed ad, as opposed to a one-page sales letter where the hook has got to be those first words that anybody sees when they pull up to your page. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And if you don't have that, then not enough people stop to pay attention to what you're selling. So you've got to have that hook. You've got to have that curiosity mechanism, something to make people stop. The next big mistake that people make is what I call wishy-washy positioning. What do I mean by that? Well, when you tell somebody something, especially in a video or in a sales letter or even an ad, you can't use words or body language or anything that would make people think you weren't 100% committed to what you're saying. Hey guys, Jim Edwards here. You guys might really want to think about signing up for my copywriting group, because we do some cool stuff over there. And if you're interested in copywriting or content creation, sometimes we have some really great things that you might be interested in. As opposed to, hey guys, Jim Edwards here. If you are excited about learning how to write sales copy that drives people to grab their wallets, pull out their credit cards, and type them in to send you money. If you want to know how to create amazing, compelling content that sells people and flies under their radar and they don't even realize that you're selling them, then you need to join my Facebook group. It's amazing, and better than that, it's free. We have people posting stuff in there all the time. I get in there, I get live. We answer questions, we brainstorm, we do crowdsourcing, we do all sorts of amazing things. If you're serious about doing sales copy or content marketing, you need to go join that group right now. Stop what you're doing, go to the JimEdwardsMethod.com/group. Is that?
Yes.
The link. I get all group, and you need to join. It's free, and you need to be in there because you're missing out. You see the difference, that you need to believe in whatever it is that you are creating copy for. You've got to believe, you've got to be forceful, you've got to be, you've got to be direct. Well, Jim, I'm not like that. That's not really my personality. I'm not really into that kind of thing. I'm just, if people will like it because it's good and my results, bullshit. Okay? You've got to take a stand, have a position. Love me, hate me, there's no money in the middle. All right. Now, you may not be as crazy as me, but you need to amp up yourself and really have a position. Does that make sense, dude?
Oh, absolutely. And you sold me at knife hand.
Here you go. All right.
You sold me at knife hand. But yeah, I mean, if you're not very good at doing that, that's where the scripts come in so handy.
Right.
You know, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not very good at it. Right. And scripts are helping me tremendously.
There you go.
That methodology of the patterning of the scripts are.
It's language patterns.
Ideal.
It's just like exercise patterns. I mean, you may not be good at push-ups now, but if you do what Steve tells you, you get real good at push-ups. And you can activate the lunk alarm at Planet Fitness. Woo! I got thrown out of Planet Fitness. Yeah. Well, not really, but it would have been cool. Sir, we have to escort you out. Oh, that's cool. I was done anyway. No clear offer. That's number 9. There's no clear offer. That's the other thing that people kind of beat around the bush. And then they're beating around the bush, and then, well, you're going to get this, and you're going to get that, and it's really cool, and this one's good over here. Here's the magic phrase that you put into a subheadline or words that come out of your mouth. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Here's exactly what you're gonna get. Okay. You start telling them all this other stuff, but at some point, once you've sold them, then you got to tell them, here's exactly what you're going to get. And you list it off. And it's, okay, you're going to get this. This is what it is. This is what it does. And you almost got to think about doing a feature, benefit, and meaning for each thing that they're getting. All right. Here's what it is. Here's what it does. Here's what it means to you. And here's what it's worth. Each thing that they're getting. And then that leads us to the final mistake that people make in their sales copy, which is there's no offer stack, there's no value stack, there's no offer summary. So right when you ask people to buy, sometimes you can't always, but you should have a little bulleted list of everything that you've told them that they're going to get, not just with the little titles so that they can see, okay, I'm going to get this. You know, they told me all about it up here. I'm visualizing up by the ceiling. I'm visualizing this sales letter coming all the way down. They told me up here that I'm going to get this and this and this and this, and now it's time to act. And I got my call to action, and I know that I'm supposed to be doing this now. And just as a reminder, I'm going to get this. Click here now to increase my strength and flexibility. Okay, I'm going to get all this shit, and this is the thing I push to get it. And those are the 10 mistakes. So I'm gonna recap them real quickly, like the guy in the FedEx commercial. All right. Mistake number 1. It's 2. Oh well, I don't need to do it now. No headline. Talking about features only. Talking about you, not talking about them. No clear reason why to buy. No clear call to action. Trying to write sales copy from scratch. No hook or curiosity mechanism. Wishy-washy positioning. No clear offer of what they get, and no offer stack, value stack, offer summary at the end. Boom. So
boom, I love it.
The 10 most lethal copywriting mistakes people make and how to avoid them. So here's the deal. As the Let's Do This officer, if you're not writing down these notes, you're wrong. That's right.
Wrong, people.
Or send Stu $50 and he will Xerox that for you and send it to you.
I will also write it in the description of this video if you did not do that.
Oh, cool. Thanks. No, I didn't. Awesome. All right, cool. Well, thank you, Stu. I know you got to get back to get after it with the firefighter guys, and I got to go help my dad over at the hospital. So I would just encourage you guys, review this, take this to heart. Don't feel as though, I guess, I also don't want you to feel overwhelmed by this. I just want you to be conscious of this. These are things that you need to pay attention to and avoid. And if you do that and you do the opposite, as we told you, you can really get much better results with less stress. So, all right, everybody. Well, have a great day, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.